That right there was a 5-star read. If I could give it 25, I would. What's up, beautiful, gorgeous people, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a lovely day. If this outfit looks familiar, it's because I'm batch filming today. We have a new book and breakfast up for those of you who like to check in on those. We had some amazing stuff going on, from delicious food to amazing books. So make sure you go check that out, because those are some of my favorite videos to film. And many of you have told me they're some of your favorite videos to watch. Today, we're talking about everything that I read in the month of June. I had bangers, y'all. I had so many 5-star reads this month, and I was kind of sad that I didn't get at least 10 books out. But I'll be honest, like, after I finished some of these amazing books, I was kind of in a slump. It was like nothing was hitting the way these books were hitting. So today we're going to talk about all of the books that I read in the month of June. If you love a good reading wrap up, if you love to get some good ass reading recommendations, this is where you need to be. Make sure you go ahead, hit subscribe, and let's tap in. I really hit the ground running in June with some amazing books. I had a couple of ARC reads that were two of my most anticipated reads of the year that just blew me out of the water, as well as our book club pick, which also was a highly anticipated read that just was amazing. To start off the month, I did finish off The Beauty of the Street Love by Elle Kayson. I kind of read this book in like batches. Like I kind of would read 100 pages and then put it down and pick up something else, and then read another 100 pages and put it down and pick up something else. But I will say that I had a really, really good time with this series. This series follows the Kinsey brothers. They're one of the most notorious crime syndicates in their area. And we kick off this Texas tale with our girl, Shamar. Shamar is eldest sister to Tavion, and she is getting ready to go on a good old trip. She's had quite a few accomplishments, and so she wants to treat herself, and she's planning on going on a year-long trip. And with her brother Tavion kind of having lost quite a bit of his familial connection with the death of his parents, she wants him to kind of give up the street life, come and stay in her home, and just kind of take a break. What she doesn't know is that he is knee deep into this, like knee deep. And she finds out when she goes to try to convince him to come home with her, and they end up getting stuck up by one of the Kinsey brothers. They end up taking her as leverage because they realize that Shamar is incredibly important to Tavion. They want the cut of whatever he has been running that he took from them. And so they take her to Trammell. Trammell is the oldest brother, and he is the fixer. He does the torturing, he gets the answers, all of that. And so he is one big scary motherfucker. He just got out of jail. He's the guy that you don't want to be taken to. But his brother has this bright idea that he needs to, you know, live a little, and that maybe someone like the cute, nerdy, kind of timid Shamar will be the perfect woman for him. And he is right. The minute that Trammell meets Shamar, she instantly softens his hard edges. And she is kind of like a balm to all of the horrible things that he has to do to keep his family going. This story does not just follow Trammell and Shamar, it follows all of the Kinseys. So we have Trammell, we have Tamir and Tamar, which are the twins. Oh, and we have Terrell. We also have Shamar's best friend, Sin, who also ends up cuddled up and booed up with the Kinsey. And they all have their own difficult love situations going on. Of course, by the end of this book, we end on a really big cliffhanger. There are 3 books in this series. So I will be working on book 2 this month. I had a really, really good time. One thing that is really hard for me is everybody having a POV, and that is really, really prevalent in a lot of urban romance. Everybody kind of gets a POV, and it's really hard for the author to make me care about everyone. Elle Kayson made me care about every single person in this series, and it definitely kind of ends on a gut-wrenching cliffhanger, because the people that I did not think that I would be rooting for are the people that like hit me the hardest by the time we got to the end of the book. So I'm really excited to see where things go in book 2, because I want to see these people get their happy ending, but I know I'm still not going to get it by the end of book 2. I wanted to kind of start with Elle Kayson because I do have Demon's Dream in my collection and I haven't read it yet. So we're going to be talking about that soon. I have another video featuring that one for you guys. I felt like this was a really great place for me to start with Elle Kayson and get a feel for her writing style so that I am prepared when we get to Demon's Dream. If you have been wanting to start something from Elle Kayson, but you are not prepared for that chunker that is Demon's Dream, I highly recommend The Beauty of the Street Love, A Texas Tale. And then I had 2 arcs that I was so excited to get into, so hyped that I was approved for them. The first one is Shadowed Obsession by Evelyn Leigh. If the name Evelyn Leigh sounds familiar to you, then you may have heard of her debut release, Elevator Pitch, last year. Elevator Pitch was a really cute rom-com, and it was definitely one of my favorite books from 2024. I think I spoke about that in a reading wrap-up last year. I will try to link it if I can. Shadowed Obsession is definitely veering totally away from what we got with Elevator Pitch. Shadowed Obsession is a dark romantic comedy. It has some stalker aspects in it. It has some organized crime aspects in it. It was so good. Shadowed Obsession follows our 2 main characters, Deirdre and Cesar, or as they know each other, Scar and Doe. So imagine you are kind of like the princess of one of the most notorious crime families in the country. But you are kind of the soft girl of the family. You have an amazing business mind, but your family kind of looks at you a little funny because your romantic choices have not been the best. And they have ended in your love interest getting, okay? So you are running one of the businesses within the family and you feel like you're always being checked up on, right? You feel like nobody trusts you. You feel like no one really sees you as this accomplished woman that you are. But you still have the goal to try to get some part of your family's company to be legit. So while you are on this journey, one day you get a text message from a wrong number. But you end up flirting with the guy who accidentally texts you. He goes by Scar, and you guys have this amazing chemistry with one another, and you think, you know, maybe this isn't so bad. And you start thinking that maybe this isn't so bad until weird things start happening and you notice that you're being stalked. Someone has been in your home. Someone has been watching you, but they haven't just been watching you. They've been coming in and repotting plants and doing your laundry and washing the dishes. In comes Cesar. Cesar, or Scar to Miss Deirdre, has been tasked with watching her. He has been hired by a rival family to get as much dirt as he can on Deirdre as well as her family. They have hired Cesar because they don't want Deirdre to get the location that she is planning to move their distillery business into. They want to undercut a Black woman in the business, essentially. And so he has been tasked with getting as much intel as he can on her. And so the text message that was supposed to be a wrong number wasn't really a wrong number at all. It was just Cesar doing his job. But as he continues to do his job, he realizes that Deirdre is this really dynamic and soft and incredibly endearing and kind woman. And she is nothing like the crazies that are in her family. And he falls hard. And when he is supposed to be gathering intel, he finds himself doing things around the house and finding ways to take care of her. It was such a good book. It has this really dark air of mystery to it, but it is classically funny in a way that I did not expect and really, really sexy. Like, it was, I think the best way to describe this book is truly sensual. Like, both characters are like really suave and sensual, and their banter is just, it was so yummy. 5-star read for me. It was amazing. I'm really excited because we do have a character that we met in this book, Regina. She is going to be getting her own book. Evelyn did let us know that is coming. We know that there is a lot of mystery surrounding Regina's husband, who has been missing for some time. And many think that she actually killed him, but she's like, that's the love of my life. I promise you, like, I did not take that man out. So we're going to be getting their story, and I'm really excited about it. I think this whole aspect of like dark romantic comedy was really kind of pushed to the forefront by Navessa Allen with Lights Out. And so it's nice to see another take on it. This was amazing. This was so good. I had a wonderful time with it. Evelyn Leigh is just a stunning writer. She really is, and she knows how to do romance right. So if it's a book that you've kind of been interested in, I highly recommend giving it a try because it was impeccable. One of my top reads of the year. On the flip side of that, another one of my most anticipated reads that I read via ARC. Thank you so much to Danielle Allen and Tor Publishing for sending over this ARC. I am very appreciative and I had an amazing time. This is PlusSize Player by Danielle Allen, and y'all, I already had very high expectations because I read Curvy Girl Summer and I absolutely adored it. I read that at like the very top of the year before I got the channel restarted, and I had such a good time. And so I was really excited to get into Nina Ford's story, and Miss Nina. Listen, one of my top FMCs of all time. One thing that really just I found to be impeccable writing on Danielle Allen's part is the fact that yes, these are interconnected, but the plot lines are all happening at the same time. So Nina's story is happening at the exact same time that Aaliyah's story is happening in Curvy Girl Summer, but she gives nothing away. She gives nothing away. You kind of get hints of what's going on, but she doesn't spoil the entirety of Curvy Girl Summer. So if you want to go into PlusSize Player and kind of read out of order, you can, because you're not spoiling anything that happens in Curvy Girl Summer. This one was definitely a very different take from where we were with Curvy Girl Summer. Our PlusSize Player is Miss Nina Ford. She is a high profile fashion influencer, and she has really been just like hitting the game hard. She is gritty and creative, and she has so many amazing things going for her career-wise. And so she is someone who doesn't really want to stop any aspects of her career for the idea of finding love. And so she has a roster, honey. She has the smart one, she has the funny one, she has the fun one, but it becomes very, very apparent that she does have a favorite, and that is Mr. Fun One. Enter Russ. Russ has been on Nina's roster for a hot minute, and even though she has kind of created and curated her roster of dates in a way that each guy kind of highlights an aspect of what she would want in her perfect man, the more she hangs out with Russ, the more she realizes that he kind of already embodies all of those characteristics. He's funny, and he dotes on her, like he treats her like a literal queen. He is empathetic and kind and loving, and she realizes that maybe he really is her favorite. Like maybe he really is the full package. Nina decides that she is going to kind of give things a try. She's going to give him the opportunity to kick the rest of the guys off of the roster. But their relationship gets dicey when Nina takes on a new job opportunity with the fashion company, and she finds out that the fashion company that she is going to be working for is owned by the man who has just grabbed up her heart. Y'all, this was so good. First of all, Danielle Allen is filthy, okay? Like, Danielle Allen writes fabulous smut, okay? So if you're going into these books, I need you to know, like, they're getting it in, and not like in chapter 10. They're getting it in on like page 5, okay? Like, I just need y'all to be ready for that, okay? Even Curvy Girl Summer, like, literally starts off with some fucking. So they're filthy, but the romance and the build is just phenomenal. I know one thing that I really, like, dislike a lot of the times in my books is, like, these third act breakups or, like, these mid-act breakups, and I feel like Danielle Allen did the tension and the conflict so well in this book, and it was beautiful having two grown-ass characters, even though they kind of devolved into their emotions. They didn't fully fall prey to their immaturity, and they decided to pick it up and figure out how to make it work and realize that maybe true love is worth some of these sacrifices. It was so good. I love Russ. Russ? Yeah. If Danielle Allen could write me a real man, I would take him. I'm just saying. Nina and Russ are two of my favorite characters, like, of all time. Nina is the type of woman that I would love to hang out with in real life. Like, I feel like she would be one of my ride or die girlfriends in real life. So that is PlusSize Player by Danielle Allen. Shout out again to Tor Publishing for sending over that book. It was a favorite. All right, then if you guys have been following along with our book club, you know that we did read King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. I won't talk about it too much because you guys got an entire book and breakfast that was focused on that book. It was amazing. This is a crime thriller that is focused on family dynamics. It was so different from Razor Blade Tears, but I feel like so many of the messages that came through in that book came through in this one. And we even did have a really awesome cameo from one of our favorite characters from Razor Blade Tears. King of Ashes follows our main character, Rome. Rome Carruthers is the eldest son of the Carruthers family, a family that is born and bred out of Virginia. His father and his mother were well known within the community for owning a crematory. And at the top of the book, Rome gets a call that his dad has been severely injured in a car accident and that he needs to come home. Rome has a lot of trauma that involves his old home life. And so even though he doesn't want to go back and relive those things of the past, he does. He goes back and he does kind of have some mixed feelings about it because he loves his dad, but there have always been these long-standing rumors about him possibly having been the person that killed their mother. When he goes home, he comes home to his family, his sister, and his brother Dante. His sister has kind of been keeping everything together. She has been running the crematorium since, you know, he left, and even though his brother is there to help, he hasn't really been helping at all. He's the baby of the family and he acts like the baby of the family. As Rome is really kind of getting back into what's going on with his siblings, he realizes that what happened to his dad was not, in fact, an accident, and that his dad was targeted. And his dad was targeted because of the choices of his brother Dante. See, Dante was out here trying to be a little too grown and decided to get into the drug industry within their community. And he got in bed with some of the wrong people. He got played, and now those people are looking to collect. Rome, being the big brother and the attempted hero of the family, decides that he is going to step in and try to fix things for his brother. And so when he reaches out to these guys, the main one being Torrent, they're like, nah, fuck this. Like, you think you smarter than everybody. And we don't really care about much of anything but the money. And he's like, look, I can get you some of your money now, and then I can come in and work for you and help you flip that money and get you more money back than my brother would have owed you in the first place. And they're like, nah, we'll do you one better. You're gonna give us that money that you have now. You're gonna come work for us. But we also get to use your facilities to dispose of the bodies that we take out. And this is how Rome ends up getting caught into one of the biggest crime rings in the state of Virginia. It was so good. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away. There were so many twists and turns in the stories that it has an element of like thriller in there because like obviously them being a family that owns a crematorium, like it's creepy in general. Like they really are kind of like the ushers of death, you know? And so all of this was insane. Like the characters were deeply flawed. I think this book really gives Morley Gray a new take. Like we have very, very regular people who are having to do very, very awful things or doing awful things thinking that they are making situations better. This one was heavy. The ending was bittersweet, but damn was it good. It was a 5-star read, like 1,000-star read, truly. S.A. Cosby gets it every time. And as a Virginia native myself, like I've said before, it is nice to see someone writing about Virginia beyond just monuments and like Jamestown. Like there are actual people there, and we have a very rich and diverse culture, and he always brings that into his books as well. If you have not read this one, I highly recommend, and that's saying a lot because Razorblade Tears has been one of my top reads this year. It was amazing. I don't know if it doesn't beat Razorblade Tears for me because I feel like Razorblade Tears, the message in that is so invaluable, you know, but this one is really, really close. Another one, this was actually a physical read for me, but I gave the book to my mom because I knew that she would love it. I had this one on my TBR for the month of June. That is Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. And I had such a good time with this. This is book 1 in the Tita Rosie Kitchen Mystery series. This might be like one of my favorite kitchen mysteries of all time. This follows our main character, Leila Macapagal. She has recently come home after leaving to go to school. She ends up in a really horrible situation with her ex-fiance. She walks in on him cheating, and it's the perfect time for her to get called to come home because she's basically leaving with egg on her face. Her family has called and said, hey, your aunt is struggling, like we're trying to keep the business open and we need help, and it's time for you to come home and pull your weight. So she comes home to try to help with her Tita Rosie's restaurant. There is a lot of unhealed history with Leila and many of the people within the town of Shady Palms. On this day, when we're starting off this story, we have Leila at the restaurant. She's helping out, and lo and behold, her ex comes in. He is a food critic that has really just been kind of tearing up the food scene within Shady Palms. Every review that he has done of every restaurant has just been glaringly awful. And he has a horrible reputation within their community. He's there with his dad, and they are eating lunch, and he is just, you know, he's scarfing the food down, but he has a whole lot of really not nice things to say to Leila about her food. When she finally starts to get fed up and she tells him what she thinks of his opinions, that man chokes and dies at the table. And of course, the police believe that Leila and her family are responsible for killing her ex. That is where the story starts off, but the story gets so much deeper than that. We have our town sheriff, who I think has a thing for Rosie. I don't know if they dated or if they will date, but he definitely has a thing for Rosie. On top of that, we also have Leila and what is a very clear love triangle. We have the sheriff's brother, who was also the town's dentist, who definitely carries a little something for Leila. But we also have her best friend's brother, Amir, who was also their family lawyer. And he has a thing for Leila too. And she has had a thing for him for a while. This book was so deeply rich in food and culture. It really speaks heavily on those family dynamics, those really old school family dynamics. It was so good. Like, it just had a little bit of everything. So well written. I adored all of the characters. Well, all the characters that you should adore. And even some that I didn't think that I would come to like. This was such a good story. I have book 2 coming because it's the one book that I don't have in the series. And then the publisher just sent me the arc of the very last book. So I'm going to be having a good time with this series and continuing on. And I will be like kind of updating you guys on how it goes. And that one was also a 5-star read for me. I don't usually give kitchen mysteries like a full 5 stars. Like, a lot of the times they're really, really good and I had a good time, but they're rarely 5-star reads for me. That was a 5-star read. I have 2 more physical books that I finished this month. The first one was a bit of a letdown for me. This is Rhythms Blues from Kimberly Brown. This has been on my radar for a very long time. I was really, really excited to get into this. Now, before I say anything, I'm not saying that this is a bad book. I just think that this book, in a lot of aspects, was not for me. This book is set deep in the industry, and this is another one that was on my TBR for the month. So we have Rhythm Baker. She is an occupational therapist and a girlfriend of famed rapper Raheem. He has been in the industry for a while, and they really are like high school sweethearts. They met in high school, and he kind of always carried this affection for her. And once they really got going, like, they got going and they never stopped. But Rhythm has always been kind of adamant that she doesn't want to be in the spotlight like that. Like, she doesn't want to be that couple that everyone is following. And so recently things in their relationship have kind of devolved because Raheem's label is pushing him into a fake relationship with his label mate. But even prior to this idea that he and his label mate fake date, it's been very clear to her that Raheem has not really respected their relationship in many aspects. This woman is always around. He's always kind of flaunting her, and she finds a lot of their interactions to be extremely inappropriate. And eventually, Rhythm gets fed up. She's like, you know what? After he asked her about this kind of idea to fake date his label mate, she's like, you know what? I'm done, because why would you even come to me with this, right? So she's like, I'm leaving. And he doesn't really believe that she's done with him. But she's like, no, I'm gone. Like, she packs her shit. She goes to a hotel. And she is like living it up and partying with her cousin. So one night, she and her cousin are out, and she comes across this guy. In walks Channing, okay? She has a one-night stand with Channing. They have a whole thing, right? Like, they have this amazing banter. They have a really beautiful vibe. But of course, like, she's just coming off of this relationship, and she doesn't know anything about him. Well, Channing is actually Raheem's producer. Yeah. And she has been hooting and hollering and carrying on with this man. Now, the premise of this, I love. I love the idea of a woman standing up for herself and then also getting her lick back, whether she intends to or not. That wasn't what bothered me. My bigger issue was that Raheem was there too damn much. After you leave a guy, I don't want to keep seeing him. Like, I don't even like doing that with my friends. Like, when my friends call me and tell me, oh, so-and-so texted me. Girl, why isn't he blocked? Like, that's just me. Like, it annoys the shit out of me. And I feel like Rhythm gave Raheem way too long of a leash. Like, she even kind of lets him kind of entertain this whole idea of, I'm gonna fight for you, and he's sending her gifts and sending her money, and I'm just like, girl, why? Like, you know Channing and you like Channing, so why are you even wasting this man's time? Like, he is walking around acting a whole damn fool, and it felt like most of the interesting parts of this book relied on Raheem coming in and stirring up trouble. And I just didn't want to see his ass. So much of the book focused on Raheem trying to get her back that I felt like I didn't really get enough of Rhythm and Channing. Like, we got more of Channing's grandmother who was, you know, battling with dementia than we did of chanting and rhythm throughout like the meat of the story. I would say that I tore up the first like 50% of this book. And then after that, I was just like, okay, I'm overseeing this man. Like, why is he still here? It just kept going. And then like the last, I would say like 5 to 6 chapters were just like a big rush of rhythm and chanting, like rhythm and chanting going on dates, rhythm and chanting going on vacations. Like all of a sudden, it's just all of the stuff that we should have seen interspersed throughout the book for me was in like the very last 10 chapters of the book. I felt like as far as pacing, it wasn't my favorite. And like I said, like when it comes to an ex, I don't want to see the ex all the time throughout the book. I want to see the new guy. I want to see the guy that I'm supposed to be rooting for and falling for. I don't give a fuck about the ex. Why is he still here? So that one was just a bit of a miss for me. I would give it like a solid 3 stars. It was a good, cute read, but it didn't wow me the way most of Kimberly Brown's books do. Last, but definitely not least, I was waiting to get into this one because I knew that once I opened the book, it would overtake everything that I did. I read this in like 2.5 days, and this is like a 675 page book. Like, could not put it down. And the only reason I did have to put it down was because I had work to do. This is Her Tortured Beast by E.P. Bali. I did read this. I buddy read this with one of my friends, and it was so good. If you have been following the Animus Academy series, this is book 4 in the Animus Academy series, and this follows our dragon, Xander. This was probably one of the most difficult and one of the most satisfying reads that I've had this year. Every time I read another book from E.P. Bali, I am just stunned by how amazing it is. I did not think that she was going to be able to bring this back home for me. I told you guys when I finished her Psycho Beast that with the cliffhanger that it ended on, Ekta was going to have to work really, really hard to get me to like the last of Aurelia's 2 mates. We have Xander and we have Ghoul. Xander is the dragon that has been around from the very beginning of the book. And he hates her, like, with a passion. In this book, this is the most contact that Aurelia has with Xander, just in general. And he spends the majority of the book making her life a living hell, degrading her, and abusing her. So if you can't deal with that, this ain't the book for you. I will say that I did not think that Ekta could make him redeemable, and she did it. She did it. I didn't think that she could, but she did. This book had me in tears so many times. This book had me wanting to flip tables often. It was not an easy read. If you cannot read something that's super duper dark, if you cannot read something that has these types of themes, just don't bother with the series. But if this kind of dark is up your alley, I highly recommend. We have a dragon who was fighting his mate bond, and it gets rough. It gets rough. But I ended up really loving Xander by the end. Now we have Ghoul, because we don't know what the fuck is going on with him. Like, girl, Ghoul is something else. Like, he very much is like enemy. Like he is the enemy. But there's so many questions. Like, is he a double agent? Like, what is going on? Like, is he just putting on? Like, does he have an end game here? Because we don't really get into the mind of him outside of his sadistic plotting, you know? So last book comes out in December, and I'm stressed. Like, I'm stressed. So this series is one of my favorite dark fantasy series of all time. Like, E.P. Bali, she got it right with this one. That right there was a 5-star read. If I could give it 25, I would. It was insane. All right, baby loves, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. 7 books down, but 7 really phenomenal reads and 1 meh. I don't think that's bad at all, you know? You guys let me know what you finished this month and if you had any 5-star reads. I can't believe I had this many 5-star reads in 1 month. Like I said, I think that kind of put me in a slump, but I'll take it. I love you guys and thank you so much for tuning in, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.